This lecture for section 2 deals with the probability in Punnett squares. So this is going to be a relatively short section, but we will do many Punnett squares in class, looking at all the possible combinations and how the probabilities will work out. So the likelihood that a particular event will occur is called the probability. The principles of probability can be used to predict the outcomes of the genetic crosses. Gene combinations that might result from a genetic cross can be determined by drawing a diagram known as a Punnett square. So we're looking at what are the probabilities of offspring having a certain trait if their parents have these traits. And we're going to use Punnett squares to determine the probabilities. So if we take a look right here at a Punnett square, we're still using our tallness gene, and we're crossing those two right there, the big T little t crossed with big T little t. So we segregate the alleles. Notice that each box on the sides and on the top each has only one letter. And then we drop them down and we see that there's one big T, two big T little t's, and one little t. All right? We have three of them though. The big T little t and the big T are going to have the height, the tallness gene, whereas the little t is going to be the only short one. All right, and we'll do plenty of Punnett squares for practice. Now, homozygous refers to organisms that have an identical set of alleles for a particular trait. So homozygous would be big T or little t, whereas heterozygous would be big T, little t. All right, does that make sense? Heterozygous are different, big T, little t. Homozygous are the same, big T, or big T, little t, or I'm sorry, big T, or little t. Okay, so that's what you have to realize. All right, homozygous, they're the same, big, little. All right, or heterozygous are big, little. Phenotype is physical characteristics, so tall or short, and genotype is genetic makeup, big T, little t. Those would be the genotypes. If we look right here, these both have different genotypes, but they have the exact same phenotype. They're physically identical to one another, but genetically they're different. One is homozygous and one is heterozygous. Notice how the one on the left is big T, and the one on the right is big T, little t. So that dominant, it doesn't matter if it's homozygous dominant or heterozygous. They're dominant. If it's dominant, it's dominant. Okay? Its phenotype, physical characteristic, is tall. That's the same. The genotype, genetic makeup, is different. And that's going to change. The genotype is going to affect the next generation. And with probabilities, the odds of getting the expected result goes up with a larger group. It is not exact, but a large group tends toward the predicted value. So the larger the group that you use, the more likely it is to be to reach the predicted value, all right, of 25, 50, 25, which we'll discuss in class.